wiPodcast. Porque a vida é work in progress.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the wiPodcast. I'm Anita.
And I'm Claudia. And today our guest is someone that I know very well from my professional life over 10 years. We've worked together in an agency, and then we both went on to, our career paths and ended up in client-side jobs. Always insights, always data, always, with a lot of commercial pressure and deadlines. So very high performance environments constantly, right? Recently, our paths crossed again. Very fortunately, because I was part of Severine's first resilience leaders program. And it was great for me because it happened at a time that I was going through a moment of change in my own career. And having gone through that program was really, revealing for me. It gave me a lot of clarity of how I wanted to go and to move into this next chapter of my life, right? So thank you for that, Severine. But Severine nowadays continues to work with insights and data, but also now is a resilience coach. And today that's what we want to explore, a little bit of your journey so far till this point, but then also deep diving a little bit into what coaching actually is, because we have had some questions from our listeners about coaching. And I think there's a knowledge gap between, what actually is coaching, what happens in a coaching session, what are the benefits of coaching. So we want to tap into that. So I'm very excited to have you here today and have this conversation with you. So welcome to the wiPodcast, Severine.
Thank you. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Anita, for the introduction and for welcoming me.
We always start our podcast with a very wide question. And the question is, who is Severine? And what shifted for you to want to start to work in coaching, especially resilience coaching?
Okay. So I am Severine. I worked in fast-moving consumer goods. I'm currently working still in a large global organization in marketing. But 3 years ago, after 20 years in category management, insight, I've had the opportunity to delve into coaching. So I upskilled myself for 3 years into coaching, the benefits of coaching, and also within the organization. We want to embed the coaching culture internally. There's still some misconception about what coaching is, but we come to that later. But yeah, so 20 years since I've done my degree, I have to learn again, which was a journey, but I really enjoyed learning again. And now I'm a qualified coach. Almost 100 hours of coaching, one-to-one. And because of my coaching gave me some foundation, I wanted to specialize into resilience coaching. And so a year ago, I prepared an accreditation towards resilience leadership. We hear the word resilience a lot. Again, it's something that is misconstrued on what is resilience. But it's definitely a topic that I wanted to delve deeper, because lots of people kept telling me, "Oh, you're so resilient. You're so resilient." And after a while, I thought, maybe I'm resilient. And so I embody resilience. It's a living experience every day, because I wear several hats. Yes, I work in a very high pressure environment with constant change, uncertainty, and it gets harder and harder. Resilience, because also I'm in the process of changing career and get myself more in depth into coaching, setting up my business, and also resilience because when I'm not working in front of a laptop, basically you find me either in the gym or in the trail running, because I do some ultra marathon So where you have to be resilient, so knowing what to do when you do long distance in the trail, in the mud, in the heat, in the dark. So yeah, that's why that's why I'm here today to talk to you about, my resilience journey.
Yes, resilience and courage, right? I think they go along
Yeah,
hand in hand.
courage. Absolutely.
Yes. So, a little bit, about what you do as a coach, right? If you were to describe to someone what do you do as a coach, what would you say?
So great question. Because even if I work in a large organization, when we hear the word coaching, 99% of people, they think they don't know what it is.
Yes.
They think it's mentoring. So what coaching is, it's a process. It's a partnership with a coach, myself in that instance, and with a coachee, a client. The client is really committed to that process. Because there's going to be some work, some challenging, some homework to do, but it's a partnership, in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspire personal and professional growth. This partnership is really focused on now and the future. We are not going back. We are not going into counseling. And also the coaching, it's timed. When I say time, there's a time constraint of when the coaching relationship is going to happen. It's not going to be permanent because we want to facilitate the growth of the client. And then after the end of the coaching, the client is able to, it's got the strength to continue the journey alone, without the coach, there. The coaching, what I say, I'll use a metaphor, of a tandem. So imagine the coachee, the client is riding on the bike, the tandem, and me, I'm sitting at the back, and I'm going to help the driver, the coachee, to navigate where he want to go. And I'm going to help to get there. So I'm going to ask you question, explore together, but really it's a journey together during the coaching process to help the coachee, the driver, find his own journey or her own journey, and find the right solution. So coaching is not giving the answers. The answer is coming from the coachee. So I'm going to help and, listen and ask the right question for the coachee to find his own answers. But it's definitely not a mentoring where I'm going to tell what to do. Absolutely not. So there's a lot of, it's, a safety place. It's definitely a safe relationship. When I say safe, it's creating the rapport to ensure the coachee feel really, safe and able to explore the thought. So it's non-judgmental. I'm not going to make any judgment and opinion. And it's, confidential, this relationship. And it's so needed, this time because we know we live in a very high pressure, fast-paced environment. You may have heard the expression, to be caught in a hamster wheel where it's always constant moving. And having the
I think
time
we've always been there.
Yeah.
Oh, we all have been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's having the space to step out of this busyness, craziness, and step out to get clarity on what's happening, what is important, what's next. So it's really a valuable time to step out of the noise, to get the time to think and getting the clarity that is so missing at the moment because of this, as I say, very busy environment.
Yeah. I really like what you say there around clarity, because I myself, clarity has been such a big word for me in the last year. It's like, once you get clarity, everything gets so much easier. But getting to that clarity and maintaining that clarity constantly on your day to day, it's easier said than done, right? It's
Absolutely.
it's not so easy. And the work that you do, I think it's amazing. And I know that, you know, you were talking about the high pressure, the being in the hamster wheel, that we all felt that at some point in our lives. And I know that you had, also kind of like a burnout episode as well. Do you want to share with us? Because I guess that also links to this new phase of your life somehow, no?
Correct. Yes. So yeah, openly, amongst sadly a statistic of burnout, but yes, 3.5 years ago, I just basically came home and I thought that can't go on anymore. So it was a really slow burnout that started maybe, years ago, when I was busy commuting to work. It was before COVID, so you have to be in the office like 5 days a week and juggling and not having enough boundaries between the work and life balance. I definitely hold my hand there. I remember spending long days in the office and then having a crazy commute um, and 5 days a week, and then the weekend is not really time to recharge. So this
Yeah.
was, happening years of bad habits. And
Mhm.
then I moved job closer to home. So it gave me a bit of a better work-life balance, but still not, to the best ratio. And then COVID hit. Most of us have to, well, it was unprecedented. Obviously, we have to deal with lots of challenges into, illness, working from home, where the boundaries between work and life are so blurred because you are working home. Email, there was, yeah. And then the homeschooling, if if you had children at this time of lockdown, but that was with, I'm still,
Yes. I
well,
know that.
I'm still, I think even my son realized not again, not again. So definitely that's a reason why I'm not a teacher. And then back to work, and, it's years and years of, lack of boundaries, too many priorities,
Yeah.
and also what I was telling to myself, that everything is important, everything is urgent. And
Mm.
yeah, 3 years ago, realized that can't go on, because then it impacts on your well-being, your brain, and your relationship. So yes, when burnout hit, it was, I would say, not, the aggressive burnout. I was still able to, to move. But it was definitely a wake-up call. So
Mhm.
first time, went to the doctor, flood of tears, couldn't say a word, just crying.
Yeah.
Son of work for 6 weeks. But then it was definitely an intention that, right, it can't go on, something needs to happen. And so, and what happened is, is realizing what really matters, what health is important, family, life, everything is important, but there's some boundary that need to be put in place.
Yeah.
So yes, I've been able to kind of, I don't know, rebuild myself and reconnect with myself on what is important to me. And making sure, and again, using the word clarity, making sure I'm clear on what is important to me, and how do I make sure that these boundaries are staying. So yes, I would say it's been a transformational process. So maybe a burnout was, maybe a good thing, because it made
Mm.
me realize that, it's not a place I want to go back again. And it's not visible. Nobody wake up, say, oh, I've got a burnout. So, but it's noticing the sign and then say, right, okay, I need to recharge, to rebalance, to ensure, I'm healthy and I can function properly. So yes, a long answer.
Yeah, you talked about a lot of things that I would like to tackle. First, you already mentioned some signs because I think that people sometimes they dismiss the signs. They say, "Oh, I'm just tired. Oh,
Yeah.
everybody's doing the same thing, so I'm not special. I have to keep
Yeah.
going. I have the kids. I have the house. I need to do this. What else can I do?" I think that the part of the signs that we are aware of the signs, it's very important. And then what you actually said about the what can sustain you after you go through a burnout or something difficult in your life. What little habits you can have during your day that can help you to maintain that status of clarity. Okay, I'm in a good way. I'm balanced. I'm okay. What do you think that could be those habits for us to check in and to say, okay, let me see how am I doing? And I think that maybe this is also linked with your coaching sessions. Maybe I don't know.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, the symptoms were for me, and I think for most people, it's when you feel tired, having lack of excitement, energy, joy, things that you used to enjoy, and then all of a sudden say, a little thing is like a big wall to climb. When you feel tense, definitely tense. So, when the jaw, for me, it's the jaws and the shoulder. I think feel tense when I apprehend um, a discussion with someone, a meeting with someone. Everybody going down your nerve, it's like, oh, it's not right. It's the relationship is always on the edge. And then it's, the physical signs, stomach pain, the gut, headache, anxiety, thought racing, pain in the chest. So it's quite a lot. But there's, the physical and then, the cognitive process starting getting slow. Definitely big memory loss for me, foggy. I remember I could not write an email thinking it took me ages because it was foggy, everything foggy, lack of clarity. Definitely. I was, I was in a big fog. So this was some of the symptoms. And now, I mean, 3 years later, I definitely know, and something I coach, on particularly on resilience leadership, is resilience leaders, they know what take them from pressure to stress. So they know what's trigger them. And it can be a back-to-back meeting. It can be some difficult people. It can be lack of sleep, poor diet. So they know what take them from pressure to stress. They notice the sign, but they know as well they take strategy to rebalance, because you can't, you mentioned the word sustain. You can't sustain performance if you are constantly in that overwhelm and you're not having taken the strategy. So I'm using almost like a pendulum, music pendulum. When you go there, but you need to go back to the center because otherwise it's broken. So for me, it's having this little strategy in the days. It's avoiding back-to-back meeting, that's for sure. And there's definitely lots of research that Microsoft did years ago.
advice, what fun.
I'm laughing because I know that Anita has back-to-back meetings often.
Oh, Anita.
Not every day, but in the days that I don't have, that I have a whole afternoon that I don't have meetings, I say, oh my God, I can breathe. I can work on my things. I can have some clarity. Back out a little bit and see little things are going. Okay, what I need to do, organize myself, organize the work. And I think that we need that time also to do that analysis. That's it. And by the end of the day, it's going to be good for you and good for the company also, because the job is done is done very well when you have time to look at things with time. Indeed, with time.
Yeah.
Time to think. Time to think.
Yeah,
come
time
to
to
think
think.
and manage your energy. So I don't know if your brain works better, first thing in the morning. If at the first thing in the morning you've got email, you've got a meeting already, you don't optimize your brain. And then if you have your window of right now, I can do some work. But if it's a 5 o'clock, well, I don't know what about you, but
Not
me
going
at
to
5 p.m., it's not where my brain is the most alert. So
Yeah.
it's really sustaining performance, really about taking ownership of leadership of your time, definitely. And it's having this conversation. It's can a meeting happen, or does it have to be 1 hour? Can it be 45 minutes? Just to
Yeah,
give
yeah,
you
yeah.
your pocket.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
in the day, it's so important. If you do an office job where you sat down in front of a laptop, you need a break. You definitely need a reset. So maybe, when you have, let's say, two meetings at the back of each other, but maybe if you have 5 minutes between that, do some breathing exercise, just to get the tension out. What I like is standing up, do some stretching, change the state. You need a reset. So I'm definitely mindful. I will plan a break in the morning, mid-morning. I will plan a break mid-afternoon, but lunch break, this is non-negotiable. I need my lunch break. So lunch break, I'm out. I'm
Technically.
not, I've already, when it's 12 o'clock, right, I'm off. This email can wait when I come back, because then, you get caught, say, oh, I'm going to answer this email. And then somebody catch you, and
Exactly.
then sooner or later, oh, right, when I miss my break now, or it's only 10 minutes left. So it's really going out. So I'm big fan of stretching, moving, just being outside. I know the weather is not great, but even, if it's raining, just, have a raincoat and a cap, but just a 10 minutes, it already make a difference when you come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's so precious. Managing the energy, the reset. So I use the pendulum. If it's too much, I need to recenter. So give you an example, this week I have to spend 2 days in a conference, Tuesday and Wednesday. So traveling to London, altogether, I must have spent 4 hours in train and back to back Tuesday and Wednesday. And on both days, when I got home, I was exhausted, absolutely exhausted. So I knew that, right, I needed to do something. So on the first day, I just set up my alarm clock earlier and I just went for a run, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But I needed this. I could sense, I was really nervous. And I felt so much better after. So it's noticing the sign, noticing why I'm feeling that way, because I've been sat in a conference for 2 days, but doing the things to overcome, to rebalance. And then I felt so great on Thursday after that run. So it's,
It's the thing of identifying what gives you energy, because sometimes you can think, okay, this is 20 minutes, it's 20 minutes that I could stay at bed and I won't do anything. But if you know that the run will give you some energy, it will make you feel better, it's worth it to do it. For you, it's run. For me, maybe it's yoga, meditating, journaling. Just go outside and just do a walk. But identifying those little wins that give us some energy to go through the day.
absolutely. I read some a scientific research on the impact of being outdoors. Like when you go for a walk, or let's say meditating, if you can step outside to do that and listening to the birds chirping, is the best grounding impact. Even 5 minutes, it just and then the moving as well outside. It's I know we are coming at the end of a very long, wet winter, but stepping outside, even on a cloudy day, there's the natural units of light that you get from a cloudy day help with your cognitive brain. And I read this research and looking up and try to look at the chimney, and the units of light connect with your eyes, which then connect to your brain, and it helped to with the brain function. So it's fascinating, I found. But yeah, your body needs a natural unit of light, and it's so accessible when you can go outside. So
Yeah.
It's this mind and body connection that a lot of people do not give enough credit, because, we are in our heads all the time. We need to be productive. We need to be successful. And then we kind of like do not give too much attention on being in nature, going outside, moving your body, and how important it is to balance your brain, to keep a healthy brain. And that's kind of like links to my next question for you, Severine, which is, why do you think, and I see this a lot as well, with the people that I work with, is that the people that are the high achievers, the high performance, those are the ones that need this work the most, but that take longer to ask for help only when they get into that quiet burnout, or, they're just in the limits. That's when they ask for help. Why do you think that is?
I think it's a paradox that has been established for so long in the society, when you think like, being in front of a laptop made you productive. And the pressure as well of the business on, delivering, driving results. But there's a paradox that, we need to challenge, because being in front of a laptop for, let's say, 8 hours, it's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for the business, because you're lacking this refresh, this creativity, this productivity that you need. And we've been taught to perform. And I think it created the wrong mindset. And we also, I'm just thinking, we do too much. And there's the thing is, too many things. Do we need to prioritize better? Yes, absolutely. And there's a job to be done, and it comes from everyone, because we are the cultural architect in the business. It's really challenging the why. Does it really matter? Will this make the boat grow faster? That is another saying I heard. But it's prioritizing, because we might spend so much time on things that it's not having the greatest, not have the impact. So why do you need it? It's questioning ourselves. And it comes from everyone. So it's having this time to almost pause and reflect on, okay, where did I spend most of my time today or this week? And then against the priority, the strategic mission of the business, is it aligned? No. So then it's some adaptation needed to be done. But we may be so much caught on, looking down, but sometimes we need to pause and having some strategic intent.
Yeah. It's again that time to think. And again, that's where coaching comes in, isn't it?
Yes. Time to pause and think. And is this right? No. Okay. So let's address, what really matters, what really is important, and I use the word what really matters, because it helps to challenge the thoughts. And then if it's okay, does it really matter? And then it's challenging this belief. That's what coaching is, and replacing with a better belief that serves the people better.
Yeah. You have already tackled one of the questions that we had, that what is coaching, what coaching is not. You have given us some hints on that, but in practice, how do a coaching session works, or the plan of the coaching? How does it work when a client goes and starts working with you? How does the whole process unfold?
Yeah. So first of all, before we start the coaching contract, what we tend to have is what we call a chemistry call. It's just to check, to learn a bit more about the coachee, and also the coach. So it's almost like, a discovery, a chemistry call to check that, there's good rapport and we can work together, because the coachee need to feel safe, feeling really comfortable with the coach, and vice versa. If, the coach might find that, oh, actually, I'm not going to bring my best self because of some characteristic or what the coach wants to bring. So then we start coaching contracts. So there's a coaching contract. We are all committed. So I have a coaching contract that, explain what coaching is, to ensure, there's no misconception. And what are the accountabilities of the coach, what the accountabilities of the coachee, and the golden rules. So, the trust, the confidentiality, non-judgmental, positive regards. And the coachee is really committed to that process. And something that, I'm learning as well, because if the coachee is not committed, then the results are not going to be there.
Yeah.
So then when we agree that, okay, we can start the coaching session, contract. So we attend to, and generally speaking, that's the best practice. We set up 6 coaching sessions. It can be on Teams, on call, virtually, or it can be face to face. Practically now it's better on call, because geographically we might not be in the same place. So it's important that, when we both, coachee and coach having this coaching session, that we know we won't be interrupted. The door is shut. It's quiet. It's not going to be something you can squeeze between two busy big meetings, because you need to be there to be your fully self and really bring the best. So you need to be in the right state. 1 hour, that's what I recommend. There's been an example recently where the coachee put 30 minutes. It's hard. 30 minutes is really hard, because imagine if you've been in a very heavy meeting and time to settle and entering the coaching space, and then the session is and getting into the depth. So 1 hour is what we tend to have. So we do at the beginning of the 1 hour. We say, right, it's a non-judgmental. I won't be interrupted. Then we come to that session, and then the last 5 and 10 minutes, we kind of wrap up and say, right, what has been the insight and what has been the key takeaways for you, and okay, this is what the homework to do for the next session. So I tend to spread the session by 3 weeks, 3 of a month. 3 weeks or 4 weeks. But so it's a block of 6 sessions. Because as I mentioned earlier, the idea is, for the coachee to be strong at the end of the coaching contract, and empowered to continue forward the journey. So if you use the analogy of the tandem, now the coachee can ride the back on its own. So that's how it works.
I was wondering, because also there's a misunderstanding between coaching and therapy. I think that people sometimes they mix a little bit the concepts, and they are different. Can you tell us a little bit more about this misconception between coaching and therapy?
That's why it's important to have this chemistry call, just to assure, to confirm, what's the role of a coach. And it's not counseling, it's not therapy. So therapy is spoken on the past. It's really retrospective, looking at things that happen. And coaching, we are looking at the future. We are not looking at the past, we're looking at the future. So it's very different. So
Okay.
that's the best to differentiate counseling and coaching. And in the coaching, in the coaching session, we might contract while we are looking, to the future, but it might come to through the conversation that, oh, there's something going on in the personal life. Then it's my role as a coach to, to flag this during, and maybe suggest, some counseling, but I'm not a counselor. So it's important to differentiate both practices, and then to help the client, if counseling may be recommended as well.
Yeah, that's very good. That's the image that you said regarding the past therapy and coaching more focused on the present and the future. I think it really illustrates the difference between them. And in your coaching sessions, because you have already a lot of experience, what do you think that your customers or your clients are more surprised within the coaching sessions?
What they are very surprised. I think they realize the value of having the space to think, because it's such a busy, noisy environment that having the space to think, the space to find that clarity is so precious. It's really hard to get. And the clients are really surprised on, oh, I got a space. And it's, it's a conversation, but, and also, sometimes the coaches come to the session, I want to do this. And then by talking through the session, they have some solution. They come to solution just by thinking and talking.
By thinking and just by talking and just by stepping back and looking at the situation with time once again, and they come up with the solution in that session. Yeah, that's really beautiful.
Yes.
It's because, like you were saying at the beginning, Severin, the coachee already has the answer. It's just that there's so much going on and they don't have the time to ask the questions that they need our help to kind of like guide them, ask the right questions, and the space to think again, to get the clarity, because they always have the answer. It's just finding it in the midst of everything that's going on.
Yes. And for listening to what the clients say, the language, the
body language also, not only this, the body language, maybe.
That is so important. Yeah.
Yes. So it's, as a coach, you're looking at all these signs, you hear, what the words that are chosen, the tone, and also the body language. And then you say, I'm noticing this. Obviously, you ask permission, but and having this, person, then he helped the client say, oh, actually, I haven't thought about that. Maybe. And then we come to, oh, really, shall we explore together about this? And then it's when the client growth is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is like a typical client that comes to you? Are they in crisis? Are they looking to like prevent getting into burnout? What are they looking for?
Well, actually, it's funny. I mean, it's interesting because I'm obviously from personal experience, and because I coach resilience, I'm very, very mindful of what the clients say, and recognizing when there might be some sign of burnout. But because burnout is so implied, lots of customers or clients, they don't notice this. But for the coaching session, I say, what do you do to rebalance? So they don't come with a say, I have a burnout, I need to rebalance. They don't, no, absolutely, they don't do that.
Yeah.
But I say, so you're saying, it's evoking the awareness here. Something need to change. But I would say the most, my clients, because I work in a large organization, lots of my clients come from within the organization, so professional. There's two themes, I would say. One is confidence, how to get the confidence, either because people have moved role and they need to build that confidence, or clarity on what's next, the professional development. And, career coaching comes a lot, discussion around this.
So it's always either a moment of transformation, like change in a career, or if they are stuck almost.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I the confidence as well is like, that imposter syndrome that I think a lot of people deal with, especially women. Because of all of like now that we're stepping into more senior roles, a lot of us question. I mean, I certainly went through that period where I was like, do I have the right to be here even? So there's a lot of need, I think, in that area, the imposter syndrome.
Yes. Because it's because the organization, they put so much pressure and also the pressure. The more pressure you get, the more you get detached on your authentic leadership, on your strength. And of course, I could write a book about this, but it's people lose their sense of strength and what they are good at. The organization or teams or colleagues, because we are such in a high pressure, we are not good at praising and celebrating the wins, but also praising the quality of people. So we are almost like in default of, development area, but not about strength area. So the strength and the values, what is important to you, serving others. So it's the high pressure environment can have really an impact on the individual, on their authentic leadership. And that's why coaching really helps to build that confidence on who you are, where you're great, and also reconnect on activity that bring you the best, but energize you and not drain you. And people are losing sight of that. Because if we are playing on our strengths, it's work around self-awareness.
Yes.
And if you know who you are and you're really strong, and when the pressure is on, you still have this moral compass on your values, your strength. That's a competitive advantage, I would say, because you can achieve so much great things. The barriers won't be a problem for you. You will ride over them. You will bounce forward or spring forward, I should say. And actually it's a principle of resilience leadership. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. When you have a grasp on those things and you don't let them go, you always have your hands on the wheels. So if there's any obstacles, you'll just, navigate them in different ways. You're more adaptable and more, resilient, for a lack of better words.
And one thing I think that you kind of mentioned it also is the fact that, at least for me, and that was a discovery that I just made some years ago after so many years in corporate, is that we are very much obliged to see what are your weaknesses and what you need to do better. What are your weaknesses and where you need to be better.
Focus on the negative.
But I think that's something shift on the way that I work when someone told me, okay, but what about looking at your strengths? What are your strengths? You cannot do everything perfectly. But if you go to your strengths and then, okay, I'm good at this, I'm going to bet on this, on this part that I'm not so good, I'm going to need the help of this person or the help of this group or the help of these two, and I'll figure it out. But I think that we are very much focused on what we are not good instead of also embracing, celebrating and focusing on things that we are good and that we can leverage on to go further. And this was a shift for me. I just did it 2 years ago, but in my day-to-day habits, it really changed. It was mind changing, this new mindset for me.
Yeah. If you invest in activities that play on your strengths, you will get so much more excited, motivated. You're going to perform, and it would bring the best to the team you're working on. I've been doing some Gallup strengths, where it's a psychometric test, and you find out what are your strengths, and some are more strategic, have strength around strategic, some have relationship building, but they map people across their strengths. And the insight that came out is the probability of people having the same top 5 strengths in the same order are impossible. So what it means is the diversity and how this is your talent. We are all different. It's like our fingerprint. And we need diversity. We need people coming with their strengths. Otherwise, we don't want to be the same person. And if we focus on the development, let's focus on what we are good at, and then you can achieve results because you already have this positive mindset. If you play on your strength, you could do an activity that energizes you, and you just can't, you're great at it. So yeah, that's definitely something I've learned as well, Anna, about, Anita, on cultivating the strength. And, when I do my ultra challenges, I really play on my strength because it is hard, but you want to focus on what you're good at to help you move forward. And also, I mean, I think it's a role. That's why coaching culture is so important within the organization, to focus on the positive, the strength, and also coaching the employees on their goal. And we also do some work on feedback. When you hear the word feedback, people are, they're going to be told off. But feedback is also positive feedback. It's positive, but really encourage people to give feedback, because if you've done a great job, we want to know, because, it's a gift. And if there's, an area where it's been great, but you can, what could be even better next time, let's have a well constructive feedback conversation. And there's some model about this, to make it really constructive. Still a work in progress, I would say, for, everyone in the organization, on how to have this good conversation, development conversation.
That's very important. I think it's very important. Sometimes you have talents that you don't even know, when someone says, okay, but you are really good at it. Am I? Really? And then it's something that can encourage you even to pursue other areas within the company that you can feel better doing your daily activities. Yes, and that's amazing. Yeah, definitely. Feedback. I believe in feedback. Good feedback, positive feedback. And even when you are on the perspective of the lessons learned, or, okay, here you could do better in this part, it's constructive. It's for your evolution. And I think that people get that better if you start with the positive feedback. It's what you did well, and then I think that you can get better on this. And I think that it's Win-win.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I always felt like feedback is such an important thing. Even and now I'm working on my own. It's one of the things that I've struggled is get that feedback, and that's what I'm trying to do with peers and with the colleagues, and to ask them. And I keep seeking feedback because it just helps you better yourself, right? And I think being open to receive feedback, it's also a signal of a person that it's a person that is open to anything, right? To the
Yeah.
positive and to the negative, and to improve themselves. So, but not a lot of people have that openness. And maybe some companies as well don't have the right culture, because I've been in companies where I was like, why don't we have 360 feedback, for example, right? Because I'm so used to it. Well, the people are not mature enough to have that conversation, so sometimes the
Yeah.
culture in the company is not prepared for that, which I think is a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's so
Yeah.
valuable.
It's a gift. Feedback is a
Mm.
gift. It gives you the
Yeah.
boost because if it's positive, and it's a way to get even better.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, I could speak, in my, as I do, train for ultramarathon. I mean,
Yes.
feedback was basically my coach filming me whilst running. That was yeah, it was painful at some point. I wanted to hide
There
myself,
you go.
but
There you go.
it's how, say, your posture, it's, game changing. It's help you to address some little bit and get even better. So yeah, it's accepting that feedback is so important. And it brings us closer to each other, connection, and, with peers, with friends. There's this
Yeah.
trust already, this, and I think I work as well. It's another thing we can talk around psychological safety, but it's trust within the team. If the trust is there, we can, talk, challenge each other, in a way to get better as a team. So yeah.
I mean, there's so many topics I think we could cover, but I know
Yeah.
we're running out of time. For example, you just mentioned accepting, right? And this is a word that last year I kind of like came when we were having our sessions, came to me, acceptance. And it was such a powerful word for me last year as well, that I had to accept so many different things that were happening in my life. And once I accept them, I could deal with the uncertainty that I was living a lot better. So, I mean, there's a lot that we could talk about for sure. Still, I think we need a Severine 2.0 episode.
Yes, we have definitely tackled a lot what we had planned to see with you, Severine. And like what you said, I think that we need a second episode to deep dive in a lot of topics that we have just touched the surface. But to end today's episode, we always close our podcast with another big question: is what is work in progress for you?
Yes, really good. I love that term work in progress. And I reflected on this. And for me, what it means, for me, it's a life philosophy of ongoing, international, personal discovery, development, and growth. So work in progress imply, first of all, that perfection, it doesn't exist. Um, but there's a desire to learn, to reflect, to be a better person every day. But let's be compassionate that, we are all work in progress, and be compassionate on how good we are and how good we can be tomorrow, even better tomorrow. But that's what work in progress means. It's got to be intentional, of, growth, discovery. It's exciting. It's work in progress, a journey. but we're all in.
I love that. I love that. I also think about excitement when I think about work in progress. And I love that you mentioned excitement, because for me, it's like discovering new things. Who else can I become? So that's links very well with my version of work in progress, for
In
sure.
mine too. Yeah, definitely. Focus more on the journey itself than with the finishing line.
Yeah.
Very important to have that mindset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Severine, for being with us. It was really a pleasure, and we need to bring you to another episode, definitely, to tackle a lot more that we have just tackled today.
Yeah.
Thank you for this. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you both.
Thank
Have a
you.
good rest of the day. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
hope to see you
Thank you.
soon. Bye.
Bye.
wiPodcast. Segue-nos no Instagram e ouve no YouTube.